Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Ninja Warrior Podcast. I'm Divolas, here to welcome all back one of our hosts, Crystal. You're finally back in. Oh, thank you for the great introducing. And yes, I am pretty happy to cover the semifinals. Yes, that's today's topic, the first part of the semifinals, which overall was a pretty good episode. This is going to be the first part. Next episode will be the second part. And let's just get into it. So, it actually had an opening music video, which was okay to say the least. Yeah, the song was pretty alright, but I think the real problem with it is the fact that it showed spoilers. Yeah, they saw Tyler Joy on Burnt Rubber, which is the fourth obstacle. They showed Nate Hansen on the third obstacle, Clockwork. And they just showed so many people on the finals obstacles and not the qualifying ones, which would make more sense since you wouldn't want to spoil them. Plus, Taylor Duck actually completed the course, so you'd think they would want to keep that a secret. Don't say you already spoiled it. Anyone cares at this point? I guess you're right. We're gonna cover it anyway, so I guess it isn't that bad that we spoil certain things, but it's nice to always keep them a secret because we're covering everyone. I guess, but let's actually get to the course, which started off with the first two episodes of Striding Steps and Off the Hook, but then we had Clockwork, which is a brand new obstacle, and personally, I'm alright with it, but I wish it could have been better. I kind of would, I get why it's called Clockwork, and I get its gimmick, but I just don't personally like it, especially since it took out many of the women who made it to the finals. Yeah, I think 4 women fell here? Yeah, I think so. I think so. Yeah, then we had Burnt Rubber, which was a pretty tough balance obstacle, taking out some of the very best, especially in part 2 of the semifinals. But here was pretty alright. It was a pretty cool balance obstacle. Then we had the Ferris wheel and the warp wall, as well as the salmon. But then we had the big one, the corkscrew. Personally, this is my favorite obstacle, and I want to know your opinions. Favorite? No doubt. Because, the corkscrew, it's so unique. And I really will never get why they decided to take it out for the finals for a slam dunk. One of the easiest obstacles ever. I wouldn't call it easy. Well, do you remember who fell in that obstacle aside from Graham McCartney? Not really. Exactly. Not many people fell on it. So, if you want the final course to be hard, Dragon Back is a really tough obstacle, but having corkscrew in there, that would have lowered the clear rate. Yeah, it definitely would have, and plus, then more people might have actually gotten in. Because, in the finals, several people made it to the 9th obstacle, but did not get in. Yeah, I think it was 5 people. But yet they should have gotten in. Yeah. But anyway, moving on from the corkscrew, we've got the dungeon, which I will admit I kind of like, but I kind of wish it actually had a better name. What would you call it? I don't know, I just don't really like the name The Dungeon. It really doesn't make any sense for a ninja obstacle. I guess I can see your point there. Well, something I would like to say before we move on from it is that it's actually pretty difficult. Yeah, at least it has that aspect to it, because especially the second half of it, we have to come across the vertical poles and then jump to that sideways panel. That's a really hard jump, especially from those vertical poles. Yeah. And I think that's why, it was such a cool episode, just because, some people missed it, some people got it. It was a tough jump to land, but at least it was possible. Yeah. I feel like they should have done something where you would grab the edges of the board instead of two railings on the side. Admittedly, then it would be cool, but I think also that would mess with the mechanism that moves it the other way to the other side, so I think that would probably be the problem. Oh. I guess it would be a safety hazard as well. I get your point. Yeah, but finally we had the spider trap, which unfortunately returned, but yeah, and then the buzzer, and that's it. So, let's go on to the one, starting with a big shocker, Batista Wadi. And I think the fact that he was the first one shows us that no one cares about Batista anymore. Well, I hear what you say so much of a victory, but also I hated how much the kid was advertised in season 10. Yeah, it was a little much, but here it's too little. Oh, because, like, it's pretty clear they just showed the kids one just to show off what Corkscrew could do, as it's what took him out. Yeah, it kind of sucks as that what the treatment the kid got. And also, Flex the Black was the one who knocked him out of the top 12. Yeah, and finally, Flex didn't even make it into the top 12. She just made it because the women's top 2. Yeah, it's crazy. But anyway, after him, we had Nate Hansen, who unfortunately I didn't get to talk about, but I'll just say it. Nate Hansen, it's a pretty cool competitor. The fact that he's able to break limits despite his size really just shows off what people his size can do. Like, he's up there with Taylor Yamauchi, honestly, defining the limits. Yeah, you're right on that. And they had a little story about the impact of him hitting a buzzer to himself as well as the other ninjas and all that. But then he falls on the fourth obstacle, burnt rubber. So yeah, that happened. It was pretty sad because I wanted him to go far and I thought he could. He probably could complete all those other obstacles aside from maybe the dungeon, but it's strange. I'm gonna say something. If he did make it the Corkscrew, I feel like he would have had a problem with it because like his size would make the screws turn really fast. I guess it would, yeah. But he could probably do it. But again, there's a reach at the top where you have to swing really high. That wouldn't be easy for someone his size. Yeah, there's that too. But anyway, next one was Sandy Zipperman, who had this really sweet story about a little girl named Oakley who had both lung and liver cancer, and who was a big fan of Ninja Warrior, and Sandy, along with crewmates and stuff, built to an obstacle course in her backyard. And it was a really cool segment. It went a little long, admittedly, but I'd say it was well worth the time spot. Yeah, and I was expecting Zimmerman herself to fall really early because how early she ran. But she made all the way to Corkscrew and stayed in the top 2. I mean, that has to be commended for how early she was seeing the episode. Yeah, definitely. She only made it to the second hook, but still, a really impressive one and a pretty good story to watch. I wouldn't say it went on along like you, but again, I'd say it spread its message. Yeah. Yeah, and after that we had Shanique Lovett in a fast forward segment. She fell on burnt rubber along with one of Jake Murray's teammates, Glenn Albright, and his other one, Barry Goers, ended up going pretty far, surprisingly enough, and fell on Corkscrew. Yeah, admittedly, I was expecting him to fall pretty early, but yeah, these two did a lot better than expected, considering the fact that they were brought in because of Jake Murray's win on the Power Tower. But, yeah. After that, we had Donovan Matoya, who had probably the worst segment of the entire episode. Yes, I can agree with that fully, because the music, like, that was so annoying during his segment. It's like, classy. He is so classy. Just because he wears a freaking suit on the course. I mean, come on. Agreed fully. And on the course, he did make up over this 360 on the warp wall. Yeah, he just goes up and goes 360 on the warp wall. It was cool to see. And Donovan Matoya was the first to pass Corkscrew and made all the way to the dungeon. And he ended up moving on. And while this segment was annoying, I will say the one was impressive. Yes, definitely. And next up we had Caitlin Bergstrom, who had an impressive run in qualifying, making it to the 5th obstacle, but unfortunately here she fell on the second off the hook. It was just pretty sad. And after that we had Ryan Lashoff, who was part of the Tyler Duet squad. He ended up falling on Corkscrew. Yeah, again, these fast forward ones are a lot more impressive than you may think. Yeah, most of them all fails at Corkscrew anyway, because Corkscrew had a large knockout field here, but yet no one who made the Corkscrew actually qualified, since you had to make it to the dungeon to make it. Yeah, 13 people made it to the dungeon, including Flex the Black, and that meant that no one who made the corkscrew, aside from Sadie Zimmerman, because the women's top 2, actually moved on. But yet in the second round, people who made the corkscrew still moved on. That's just such a weird thing. Yeah, especially since it was basically the same course. I mean, there was some changes, but it was basically the same course. But yet, because less people made it to the dungeon, people who failed on corkscrew actually qualified, which is strange. Yeah, but then we had Tyler Gillette, who had a segment about his cousin Bill, who was dealing with stage 4 pancreatic cancer, and just basically described his fight through it. But Tyler's one of the causes the real deal here. Yeah, Tyler Gillette, he actually was the very first finisher, and he had an exhilarating one, because at the end of it, his feet started losing traction and the spider climb. It looked like he might just fall from there, but he was able to climb up and hit the buzzard. It was a really impressive one, and it was so cool to see. Gillette, yeah, the fact that he didn't get fast-forwarded, later in the episode. Yeah, you think, because they fast-forwarded, I think, 1 or maybe 2 quiz in this episode. I don't know for sure. I think they may have fast-forwarded 1, but yeah. Anyway, after Tyler Gillette, we had Ashley McConovich, and this should have been an impressive one on the show what she can do. I would have more of it, but unfortunately, she fell on the bunt rubber. Yeah, this was definitely one of the biggest shockers of this semifinal round. Not that she completed the course in qualifying, but then she falls on the 4th obstacle here. It's pretty sad to see. And then we had Mike White, the Speedo Ninja, who had a little bit of a mess up on his usual Speedo entrance where his pants wouldn't whip. But aside from that, he made it all the way to corkscrew and missed on the 3rd wing. So yeah, it was a pretty impressive one. Yeah, and after that, we had a big shocker when Zoe Hall attempted the course. And by attempted, I mean say no and have Grant McCartney do it instead. Yeah, it was pretty unique. It was Grant, so you were expecting something different. But Grant himself had an all-right run, making it all the way to corkscrew. And he had a really tough time on the obstacle, because on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd ones, his wrist literally cracked. And, he went all twisted all around. I don't think any other competitor in either night of the course. It's just that he fell in the third corkscrew. I'm going to be honest here, I kind of wanted him to get through it despite my unliking for him. Yeah, it was pretty sad to see this, but after Grant McCartney, we had Abel Gonzalez in a fast-forward segment. Now, this was barely even a segment, as they just showed him on corkscrew falling there. And they also had a shocker in the form of Kevin Bull, also getting the exact same treatment, falling on corkscrew. Yeah, that's annoying. I really don't like how they didn't show either of the ones, period. They might as well have just cut them. I really don't get why they did this. Yeah, but after that, we had Cameron Baumgartner, who had a story about him having a blockage in his heart that stopped him from breathing at the age of 4, and having heart surgery later on. But after that, he exploded, or just did any activity he could. And then on the course, he did really well. Yeah, on the course, Cameron Baumgartner actually finished it with the top time of the night at the time, 5 minutes and 30 seconds. And it was just an impressive one, all things considered. But yeah, I could care less about the story, but it was there because it needed to be there. One-time foliage collapsing! Yeah, that's basically this entire season, because, it's so reminiscent of Season 6 because Season 6 had about 1 million stories, and this one has about 1 million stories, and all of them take the same point. Something tragic happens, let's talk about for, a minute and a half. And, yeah, it takes way too long, and it's really reminiscent of Season 6, because there were a lot of those in Season 6, and it didn't make the season all that good. I mean, there was some good moments in Season 6, but it just didn't work out, and here, I'd say it's about the same quality. Just about the same amount, yeah. And after that, we had Will Yori in a fast forward segment. Will ended up falling on the second obstacle, but the main attraction was the shocking fast forward of Jackson Twait. And you'd think because they fast forwarded him, he went out early, but nope, he made all the way to the spider trap. And to be honest, I think his one deserved to be shown. Yeah, at least half of it or something. Speaking of half ones, that's also how Jamie Wan was treated. But yeah, that is the dumbest thing I think I've ever seen. I mean, Jimmy Wan has been given these awards, I think, 4 times at this point. Like, all in the finals, I might add. But it's just... I don't understand why Jimmy Wan gets this treatment. But yeah, he doesn't get enough spotlight in the show anymore. I'd say he deserves it. Yeah, by the way, Jimmy Wan made all the way to the dungeon and just barely made into the top 12 in the final spot. So, I wish he moved on, but I kind of wish, like, he went a little faster. Like, I was like, please move on, please move on, please move on. Yeah, you're right, he barely moved on, but the good part is that he moved on. Yeah, and after that, we had Gabriel Hotchkiss in a fast forward segment. But he had to fight on Corkscrew, but the main attraction is that they actually advertised the obstacle design challenge, and I didn't remember them ever doing this. Well, nice mess up on the words there. Oh, but yeah, I don't remember them ever doing an advertisement for the obstacle design challenge this year. Apparently they did, and the winner was Corkscrew, so yeah, congratulations to Jan and Josh, who created the obstacle and competed with Daniel Gill earlier this season. And speaking of Daniel Gill, after this, we had him skipped mid-1 for some reason, then complete the course. Yeah, I don't get this. Because Daniel Gill, everyone knows this by now, so I'm just going to say, Daniel Gill won the entire season. So the fact they decided to edit half his run out, it's just stupid. I will never get this. Yeah, again, I think his one deserved to be shown as, well, it wasn't the fastest time. It was one of them. I believe it was in the top 2, maybe top 3. But again, it was really fast and it deserved to be shown. But apparently not according to the producers of this show. Yeah, again, it's really weird editing decision. But anyway, after that, we had Alyssa Beard take on the course. And Alyssa... So I had a story about her having to teach more remotely and how she and her students are going through it. But after that, we had her one, which unfortunately ended on Clockwork, which is a pretty shocking fail. But one thing I do want to mention before we move on is that Akbar said tonight may be her night to finish into 10 obstacle course. Then she falls immediately after.
Has never hit a buzzer on a 10 obstacle course.
This could be her night, Matt.
Oh, my!
Yeah, Akbar was mid-sentence, and then she just drops. Yeah, admittedly, rewatching that was actually really funny. But after that, we had Jonathan Horton in a fast forward segment. He unfortunately fell on Clockwork, but the main attraction was the one after him, Jake Murray. And do you want to admit a mistake that my 2 co-hosts made? What mistake did we make? The caveman story that you guys mentioned was actually in this episode, not episode 2. Wow. Talk about getting facts wrong. Yeah, so we want to quick description of Jake Murray's one. Go to the other video because I don't think they want to describe it again. I would rather not, honestly, because that would just be recapping stuff we already recapped. But anyway, Jake Murray himself had one good one all the way through, hitting a buzzer with, I believe, the fastest time of the night. So, yeah, Jake, yeah, it was a really impressive one. And after that, we had Philip Rodriguez. And yes, this was a shocker, him getting fast forwarded at the very end. Thankfully, he did end up moving on, making it to the dungeon. And we also had Adam Whale at a fast forward, surprisingly enough, who ended up moving on and getting a fast forwarded clear. So you would worry about one fast forwarded clear. Thank you. But after that, we had Flex the Black, who was the only woman to break through and complete Corkscrew, but fell on the dungeon. And then we had a really, really weird thing happened where Jody Avila made was the final one again, and you think because they did this, he would complete the course, but nope. He failed in the dungeon. Yeah, I don't get this. Like, the funny thing is, Joe didn't even win this night. It was next night. Like, he didn't even win until the night afterwards. It was always implied because Taylor Johnson was seen on night 2. But, yeah, it's weird that Jody Avila was saved for last. Yeah, he didn't even have any kind of story like that or anything. He was just there falling on the dungeon. I really don't know why they saved him for last. Yeah, it's strange. But anyway, that's it for the semifinals. And honestly, it was a pretty good first part. What do you guys think? Again, a really good episode. Yeah, I wish I had more to say, but other than that, it's a good episode. Yeah, and that's going to do it for this episode of the Ninja Warrior Podcast. As I'm Questel, finally back in here, so you can expect me to talk about more Ninja. But next time, we're covering part 2 of the semifinals 1, and which is personally one of my favorite episodes of this season. Yeah, it wakes up there with episode 4 as a really good episode. But anyway, we'll see you guys next time. Peace.